So if you've tried diets, therapy, willpower, intuitive eating, and you're still turning to food, then this video is for you, because emotional eating isn't a food problem, it's a regulation strategy. And once you start to understand that, everything starts to make sense. So if you're new here, welcome. My name is Michelle. I'm a certified holistic nutritionist specializing in emotional eating. And if you're like most women who struggle with emotional eating, you feel like you have to control food, you have to control your body, you need more discipline, a better meal plan. Emotional eating isn't happening because you don't know what to eat. It's happening because your nervous system is dysregulated because there are certain emotions that are triggered and coming to the surface. And so this makes your body feel uncomfortable. It doesn't feel calm. It's not regulated. And food has become one of the fastest ways you know how to regulate your internal system to get back to calm, to feel soothed, and to not feel like you're out of control. Food, if we kind of break it down, it works because when you eat food, physiologically your body creates dopamine, and that tends to make us feel more pleasure, to make us feel more soothed and calm, and it kind of takes the edge off of whatever emotional intensity that you're feeling. And if we go back to when this all started, this would have started in childhood when your parents or caregivers weren't able to help you regulate your nervous system, to help you move through uncomfortable or difficult emotions. And you had to figure out a way to get your body to feel calm and to feel soothed and safe. And food is really accessible. And so if you have food, your body knows it's pleasurable. And if you keep going back to food, or maybe you were even given a cookie if you're sad, or you were given treats when you weren't feeling well, you learn that, oh, I feel a little bit better when I eat. I feel a bit calmer. So I'm going to keep going back to this. And over time, our brain makes this pattern automatic. And so now, whenever you're faced with discomfort, distress, uncomfortable emotions, you're going to food. And on the surface, what you're seeing is your relationship to food. So of course you want to control that. You want to get it under control. So essentially, when we're feeling this discomfort, this distress, our brain wants us to get back to a state of regulation, of calm. It wants us to feel safe. And so what we might perceive as stress could be criticism, body shame. Maybe we feel lonely or overwhelmed. There's conflict, old memories come up, and we might be really tired or exhausted. And this all shifts our nervous system, and it's trying to get us back to a state of regulation. So that middle lane. So if we're feeling depleted, we want to raise our nervous system. We want to feel less depleted. And so when we're in these states, food becomes this regulator to help us kind of get out of these different nervous system states. And it's not that we're actually hungry. We're using food as this band-aid to help. So when we're triggered into feelings of shame, we have lots of pressure, we don't feel good enough, we feel behind, we feel criticized or out of control, this tells our nervous system, it dysregulates our nervous system. And our body interprets this as a threat. And so it now needs to regulate itself. And it goes back to the old way it learned how to regulate, which was learning to soothe with food, because we weren't taught how to actually meet those deeper emotional needs. We're going to keep repeating the same pattern. And so on the outside, consciously it looks like you're out of control with food, but internally you're trying to create safety and calm and soothing in your nervous system. And so this is why diets fail. There's rules and restrictions, there's control and external structure. Emotional eating lives in our body, in our nervous system. And diets, while they're trying to control food and control our behavior from the outside, another layer is they're creating shame and triggering us into emotional eating. And so if we're not dealing with that deeper layer, we're not going to resolve our emotional eating by putting on these external maps or these external diets to help us with food. And so they're actually playing into the emotional eating pattern rather than helping you resolve it. Yes, you might get a quick win after a week, a couple of days, but you know that you spiral when you can't stick to these diets, when you don't choose the right food, or you're constantly thinking about the foods, you spiral. And so in order to resolve emotional eating, we need to be looking at these different areas at play. So this is why when I'm working with clients, we're looking at how do we nourish ourselves? Because food is playing this role. We're seeing it on the surface, but it's giving us a doorway into the pattern. So if we move away from diets and we start nourishing our body, and we're able to start seeing when we're emotionally hungry, and we can use that as a doorway to go deeper into some of our triggers, what's actually triggering us into emotional eating. There's also body acceptance. So if we feel shame around our body, we don't feel we're good enough, or we're not getting enough rest, that's going to trigger us into emotional eating. So we look at this other layer. And then of course we have to look at how do we use those triggers to get to the root, to start giving ourselves what we actually need in the body in a somatic way to meet those needs. And so we're doing this at a core level, not just giving you random advice to regulate your nervous system, or maybe do this or go out. It's what do you need at this fundamental level to feel like your needs are met on a body level, so that you can feel seen and heard and validated in your experience. Maybe you need to have better boundaries. Maybe you need to change something. Maybe you need to speak up. This is going to come from doing this deeper work in the body. So I use somatic meditations with psychotherapy tools, inner child parts work, to really get to that core of what's driving this pattern. So we can resolve it at the root, so that you are now not going to food to soothe, but really giving yourself what you need. And food will be a poor substitute when you actually feel what that feels like in your body. So I used to think emotional eating really was about discipline, trying the different diets. I tried therapy, I had a nutritionist, I had a chiropractor, I tried all of these things, but it wasn't really getting into the root. It wasn't until I started to really get into my body, into the core root of my emotional eating, that my pattern started to shift. I started to have a better relationship to food, to my body, to my emotions, and that started to resolve my emotional eating. And I see this with clients when we work together. So if your emotional eating is how you regulate your nervous system, we don't need more discipline or willpower. We need to actually get to the root and start meeting your true needs, so that your system can relax and calm down. And so if you're interested in doing that work, the first step I recommend to clients is to start discerning true from emotional hunger and catching your triggers. And if you'd like a free resource on that, I'll put the link below for my guide, What Are You Truly Hungry For? And if you're looking for deeper support, I'd love to invite you to find out more about the Emotional Eating Evolution Program. This is my 12-week container with the step-by-step process, one-to-one sessions with me, the deeper tools, guidance and insight to get you to ease and peace and confidence around food and in your body in a sustainable way. So if you'd like to find out more about the program, you can find out more below. I just want to say, if you have any questions about what I've shared, please let me know. Please be sure to like and subscribe. I look forward to sharing more with you, and I hope you have a great day.